Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be describing how to replace the Flex Dispenser on a GE Profile washing machine. This washing machine has a dispenser in it where it comes out like this and goes back in. And the one that this is the new one that's already in, but the old one I'll show you in just a moment, it was broken. The model on this particular machine is the PTW600. So there's other models of this unit, 700 to 800, so on. But this particular video is about the 600 unit. The dispenser, this is the old one. And the problem with it was that the little L shape, or if you want to call them tits or whatever it is, right here that keep the dispenser from coming out, broke off. They broke off on that side and they broke off on this side. So instead of the dispenser stopping when it gets to a certain point, it just comes all the way out. The other part on the inside of this housing, there is a little bit hard to see, but right here in this area above these teeth, there was a little knob that connected with that blue L, and that's what stopped it from coming out, and that was broken off. It was also broken off on the other side as well. It's hard to see in the video, but if you put your finger in there, you can feel where it was once. And the manufacturer said that it was not covered under warranty, or not the manufacturer, but the extended warranty people said it wasn't covered because it was homeowner damage. It wasn't covered under their warranty. So I decided I'm going to do it myself. And that's what this video is about. And I suggest that you watch the entire video before you attempt to do any repairs whatsoever and get a handle on it. This is the first time I've done a video like this, and so it's not a professional video by any means, but I could not find anything out there anywhere about this particular model, or any model for that matter, that went into depth on how to replace an entire module. There was some out there on how to just replace the drawer, but in this particular case, the drawer and the housing were both broken, and they both had to be replaced. So that's what this video is all about. For this particular model on the 600, this is the Flex Dispenser unit. This is an OEM part that you can order from one of your local distributors or directly from GE Appliances. As a matter of fact, their website is right there on the label. But that's the particular housing and dispenser that this unit takes. This is a GE Profile, and it's the 600 model. And we have a Flex Dispenser that has broken. It's come out. It's not under warranty. The warranty will not cover it. So today I am going to repair this unit by taking it apart and hopefully putting it all back together. The first step that I'm going to take is to tape the lid down so it doesn't flop open later. And then the other thing, my next step, is to unplug the unit after I move this out and disconnect the hoses. Okay, I have the unit pulled out, and I didn't have to pull the hoses off because I got long hoses, which is kind of good. And I do have it unplugged. The first step is to pull off this backsplash. I've already taken out a screw here on each end, and you'll need a tool. There's pretty long screws there, and there's also an indentation right here, so you'll need some type of a tool where you can get down in there and pull that out. So the next thing that I'm going to do is pull this backsplash off, and supposedly it's going to just pop right off of there. We'll see how this goes. The backsplash, you can see I've got it pulled out a little bit here, and there's something on the top that's holding it up, so I'll check that out. Okay, the backsplash came off. It was just a matter of pulling it out just a little bit from the bottom, about maybe an inch or so, and then sliding it to the right, and then it popped right off. So we have the backsplash off, and I can see what it looks like here. See what the next step is, and go into that. It's something to do with the computer jack. I'll have to find that. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to take these water hoses off or not. I do, by just for safety, I turn the water valves off on here so there's no water coming through, and that way if I do have to disconnect the hoses, I won't have water all over. Okay, I was able to pull off the main cover without any further ado, and there's some R45 jacks. This one that needs to be disconnected, that's for when the technician needs to plug in and make a test. And then the other one goes to the motherboard. So these two have to be unplugged. That way I can take this whole front module and move it out of the way. So what I'm going to do now is disconnect these jacks. Okay, I was able to disconnect the R45 jacks, one there to the motherboard and the other one right up here. I just had to pinch them together or push in on a little clip, and they came right out. And you can see that I just got them both right here, sitting down out of the way. And so I'm going to move this cover out of the way and figure out what the next step is going to be. Okay, so here's the front view. You can see that I've got the cover off now. And I think that I have to take this module off right back here because it's connected underneath to the dispenser. This is where all the wiring goes in to release whatever various types of cleansing agents you have in the dispenser. So I think that this is connected screw-wise to the top. So I got to check that out. This is the new dispenser, and you can see here that it looks like there's maybe 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, where screws are going to have to come out of this unit so I can get the old one out and put the new one in. And then it looks like these 4 holes here are for the sensors to go down into the dispenser trays. Okay, this module here is called the water valves, and you can see there down the bottom left there's 1 screw, there's another one right there in the middle, and there's another one over here on the right. So all of these have to come out and be loosened up, so the old dispenser will come out when I lift the lid. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to pull off this hose here or not yet. I don't think so. I think I can leave that on there. Time will tell. Right now, though, I am going to use my 1/4-inch driver and take out these 3 screws and go from there. Okay, I have this unit pulled back, and there it is, right there. There's the screw there. So I got to take out that one, and this one over here, and this one right here, and those all go here, over there, and over there, once I get it all put inside. So let me take those 3 screws out. I have the 3 dispenser screws out now, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this module back on here just temporarily into these slots and slide it back to the right, because I had to slide it to the left to get it out. Put it back in, slide it to the right. That way, when I lift up this lid to put in the new dispenser, things won't fall apart on me. That's the next step. Okay, I went ahead and put this back in the slots and slid it to the right so it would lock it in. And on this module right here, it kept giving me trouble when I was trying to put this back in because I still had the hoses attached to it. So I went ahead and disconnected the hoses and just put them in a bucket for the water to run into. If you're watching this video before you do this, then just go ahead and disconnect those in the beginning and save yourself some headaches down the road. Next step now, I believe, is to go to the front and lift up the lid. And you have to have something to support that lid in the back, like a wall or something that you can lean it back against. So I don't have that right here where I'm at because I'm behind it. So I'm gonna have to lean it up or push it back in closer so I can lean it up against the wall. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off the top of the unit. And there's two screws. You can see them in this picture on the left and on the right. There's one that's right there. And then there's another one that is on the other side right there. And those have to both come out before I move around to the front and do what's necessary there. So I'm going to take those out right now. Okay, I removed both of those screws on the corner. See, that's the one on the left looking at it from the front. And there's the other one right there. And what I did is I gave myself some room here. I've got a cabinetry in the back behind the washing machine, and I think that, so what I did is I pushed the washing machine back into where it was, or close to where it was, so when I lift this up, then it'll give me something to lean back, for it to lean back on without falling over. There must be hinges on the back of it or something. You can see I've had it taped right there, and supposedly there's some clips under here, and you just take a putty knife and push those clips in, and it releases it and it pops back up. So we'll see how that works. Okay, the clips that you have to find on here, you need to have the lid open, and as you use your putty knife to put it in there to remove to push the clips in, you need to be able to pull up on this at the same time. The other thing is the clips are impossible to find if you're just out here playing around. So what you have to do is you have to go in, stick your head down inside and look back inside there. It's kind of dark so you can't see it in there now, but that's what you need to do. You need to look in there with a flashlight, two little black clips, and then what I did is I marked where they were with tape. So now my goal is to push in on those clips and see if I can get this lid to raise up, at which time I will, once I get it up, then I'll tape my glass lid back down onto it so it doesn't flop around. Okay, you can see I've got a little bit of a gap here. Now where the lid is starting to come up, the clips are very springy. So when you push one in and you go to the other side to push that one in, this one falls back. So what I did is I got some popsicle sticks. You could probably use a screwdriver or something, but I didn't want to chip the porcelain. So I used popsicle sticks to hold this side up while I come back over and push this side in. And hopefully then it will just pop up all together. Okay, I got the cover off with these little, pushing these little clips in. You can see here what they look like. What I discovered was that if I pushed the putty knife in when the lid was still here and I went like this, back and forth, I'd feel the clip. But I wasn't sure because I have this over here too. But if you get it in there, then you know where the clip is. You can put your tape there. But the best thing to do is, just as I mentioned earlier, just stick your head down in here with a flashlight and look inside. So the popsicle stick trick worked. I pushed this one in first, held it up with the popsicle sticks, and when I pushed this one in, lifting on the lid, boom, it just popped right up. I pushed it back a little bit further, and now it's up against the cabinet. This is the old dispenser. There's part of it down on the bottom, but there's the dispenser itself. So I got to figure out how to get this out. I think these little things here just popped out, and then the whole thing pops out, and I can pop in the new one. But I still haven't figured out how I'm going to get around behind it to get the screws in it. So that's the next step. I also need to mention that when I pulled this lid up and tried to lean it back, I was under the impression that it was on hinges back here, but it's not. It just comes off by itself. So what I did is I pulled it forward about 3 inches and then stood it up on edge like you see here. If you don't do that, then you have to take, there's a hose here with some sensors and some other stuff that all have to be disconnected. So if you can do it this way and lean it up against something or have somebody hold it while you work on it, then you're going to be much better off. What I'm going to do now is I think these are the clips here that hold this on. I'm going to see if I can get take these clips off and get this out of here to put the new one in. You can see what that clip looks like. It's more of just a flange that goes right in there. And I got the one up, but I still have the one on the other end. You can see this is actually what they look like here on the new unit. So I've just got to get those out of there, and then hopefully the thing will just drop out. Okay, I got both of the clips out, as you can see there now. And I was thinking, it doesn't even matter if you break them, because you're not going to be using this unit again anyway. It's just going to get tossed away. So now I should be able just to pull this out of here. Yep, there it is. Okay, and it looks like there's a little sensor. That little sensor there popped out, and it goes down in this hole here, this blue hole. You can see that from the top side. In the back, when you put everything back together, you'll know where it goes. So now, let's see what happens. I put it back together. The problem with this old dispenser, the reason that it broke is there's supposed to be, when you look in here, in that first row back above the teeth, it's flat. And there's supposed to be a little stop there to stop the thing from pulling all the way out. And also on the dispenser part, you can see where right here that little piece broke off. There's a little piece where on the lower right blue, it's supposed to be a little like a little L shape that stop connects to. And it's the same thing on this side. It broke off on this side, and it was the same thing on the stop on the interior. They were both broken off. And since they were plastic, the extended warranty said, human error, we don't pay for that. Thank you. So I'm doing it myself. Okay, here's the new dispenser, and there's the clips on the back of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reverse install. Everything here is, from here on out, is pretty much the reverse of what I've just done. So I'm going to set this down for right now because I can't do two things at once. Okay, that was pretty easy peasy. I just lined up those things that protrude where the screws go into from the other side, put the top end first, and then snapped in the bottom. And one of these clips goes down further than the other one. I don't think it matters. They're just, you know, made a little bit differently or something, but the thing looks stable and I'm going to screw it in anyway. So now that's in, I can drop everything back down, and basically from here everything is just a reversal of what I did up to this point. Okay, I got the lid back down. I just pulled it forward, and what I did is I brought it up to the front, made sure that it was square all the way around, and you can see that in the back here, my dispenser, everything lines up like it's supposed to. Let's see, here's that little sensor that I mentioned earlier. It goes into that little hole right there. Okay, that's where that goes. But what I did is once I got it in, is I just pushed down on the front and this just snapped right back in. And so what that did is that lined everything up. So now when I pull it back out and I have to put in these side screws, then, you know, everything is lined up already. Everything should pretty much be lined up. And so far, so good. Okay, I got the corner screws in. One thing that you might find is they're pretty long, and they didn't exactly line up. They were, you know, maybe a 16th or 32nd of an inch off, so I just kind of had to move this around with my hand a little bit to get them to line up. And when I put them in, it seemed pretty tight, and it was like, am I going to strip that? But after I got it started, it was fine, and it was the same on both sides. I've got the 3 other screws in, the 3 dispenser screws that hold the dispenser in. So now the dispenser's not going anywhere. It's tight. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this unit back on. I'm going to drop it into these slots. You can see where you put it in here and then slide it to the right. And then there's a couple of screws to put in after that to hold that unit down. So I'm going to take that step now. Okay, I got that back on. You can see there's a screw there that holds this cover down. That was the second part. Put that in, slide it to the left. You put in this screw that hangs out, where is it? Right down in there. You can see that screw. That's the first one that goes in. Then you put this cover on, and then you put this screw in, and you're good. And it looks like that this sensor that I talked about earlier, there's a notch right here that the wire goes through this notch, and then it comes out and goes into there, so you know where to put it, because the next step is to put this gizmo back on, which is what I'm going to do now. Okay, I got this back on. Just one screw right here in the middle down there to hold it on. But I wanted to point out that these have, you can see that's where the next one goes. And there's kind of a little rubber, or not rubber, but a plastic fitting that goes over that nipple that sticks up off of the dispenser. So that goes down over the nipple. I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can kind of see that nipple down inside there. And that's where your screws go in. Be sure that that sensor that we talked about earlier is in place before you put this back on. Because once you put it back on, if the sensor is missing, then you're going to have to take everything all apart again and put it back together, put the sensor in. Okay, I've got the housing now that I'm going to put back on. I'll put that around here. I've got to put that R45 fixture back in here. Whoops, with this one. And then the other one goes back here on this little motherboard thing. So I'm going to go ahead and connect those right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back over the top of this, and then I'll put on the shield and tighten everything down. I wanted to show these R45 clips. You can see here there's a little clip right there. So when you're taking this out, that's the part that you want to push in. And once you push it in, then it will just lift out. And when you put it back in, it should just snap in. The other one is a little bit different. I remember the orange goes to the right. But this one has a little clip thing on the back. Actually, it's kind of the same. What you do is you just push that in, and then lift up on it, and it will come out. So now I'm going to just snap them back in there. Okay, I have the R45 clips plugged back in. You can see there it is right there. I might mention that when you do that, kind of put in the top side first and then snap in the bottom. A little tricky there. And the other one just plugs right in. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the backsplash cover and hook my water back up, and I should be done. Okay, as you can see, I have the backsplash back on. And one of the things that I'll suggest is the screws that hold the top cover down, your electronic component, uses the same screw as your backsplash. So you want to put your backsplash on first. You'll slide it in. You'll see little notches up in there, and then you slide it to the left to position it properly so the holes line up, and then you use an extension on here to screw this down. Everything's 1/4 inch, and you do that on both sides. Okay, same thing over here. You'll notice that I have my water lines connected back up. And just to be on the safe side, I put some blue tape on one of the hoses and on the machine here. So I would know, okay, this goes here and this goes here. Otherwise, you may end up getting hot instead of cold or cold instead of hot. This way I know the hoses are connected up properly. One other thing that is important to know about this particular machine is that it is a GE Profile, and I'll give you the information on it right here. You can see it's a PTW600. That's important to know because this machine is an earlier version of some of the ones that are out there now, and the installation or backwards installation on this, it was much easier than on some of the newer machines. There were more steps on the newer machines. So this one was good. So on this video, it's for the PTW600. That's what you're looking at. And let's check it out. There's the Flex Dispenser. It comes out to a certain point, and the drawer doesn't fall out like the old one did. That's as far as it goes. And on this one, we're not going to plan on taking it out to clean it or anything like that. We'll just, put something in there and clean it in place. And hopefully this one will last for a lot longer. This one, I think our machine is about 2 years old. So anyway, close the lid up, And I'm just going to move it back in place, and everything is good to go.